Hello, this is another episode of Tyranny Busters by Mike Benoit. And people get mad at me because I keep repeating what Tyranny Busters is all about. But we're busting tyranny upon the mind of man, which is uh, mind control. People controlling your mind. Isn't that a scary thought that people control your mind by giving you false information? And so you act on it believing, you're in control. And that can be done by a lie. Simple example is you could have someone lie to you, say about a business partner, and they can say your business partner did X, Y, Z, and then you go in and you believe it, and then you have all kinds of hell to play because you believe the lie. So the tyranny upon the mind, it happens all the time, and it's to the point where, of course, most people can't recognize it happening. Now, this one is the bust a little tyranny upon the mind of man because of Rand Paul. Now, Rand Paul likes to hook into his daddy's support group, but I'm one of those guys that was a super huge Ron Paul backer and a super huge not Rand Paul backer. And I get people talking to me and telling me, well, what about the other guys? He's closer to being like the other guys. And maybe he's just doing this stuff, saying this stuff so that he can get in there and, just tell people what they want to hear. I love that. It's like lots of principle at work there. But this one is about immigration, and this one is about sanctuary cities, and this one is about Rand Paul, and he's going to be the guy to seal the border. And this kind of cracks me up, and it comes right into home plate with me because I've been running against the Hunter dynasty out here in the California 52nd, 50th district against Duncan Hunter Sr. and Duncan Hunter Jr. And they've made a career out of we're going to secure the border, we're going to build the border fence, and the bad fellow government is not securing the border and closing the border, and we got to hate all these illegal immigration people, illegal immigrants, illegal aliens that are coming across the border, taking our jobs and all our social welfare and our education system and all those good little communist programs that I'm against. Government communist schools, government communist socialist redistribution welfare programs, and there's other ones, but we'll just stick with those two. A government communist uh, free medical programs. So, but here's the complaint, and he tried to hits me up for money. I could do a video here about an email I get every day on a Rand Paul hitting up for money video. Maybe I should, but he goes, Michael, not one penny. I'm introducing legislation that will stop the flow of taxpayer money to sanctuary cities. Now that's a good one because that's a communist system, anyways, a centralized government controlling the local communities with money that they've stolen from the people in those communities to begin with. But sanctuary cities, what does that mean? Now, the sanctuary stuff originally started with local police officers couldn't just go up to somebody and say, what's your citizenship? So they're like, papers, please. And of course, who would they target? Well, people who look like Mexicans. Where's your papers, please? Citizenship. And so there were certain cities that said, no, we're not playing in that game. You're not doing that. We're not doing that. And I guess Los Angeles was the first or one of the first to do that. And of course, I don't know what else they're doing, but as far as sanctuary cities go, but if they want they don't understand the division. I guess they don't understand the Constitution and the division of jurisdiction. If they want local cities to enforce federal law, there's a jurisdictional question there. And but of course, a communist Soviet-style central system doesn't really care about that, do they? And so I'm not going to go too much into that concept, but you see what they're, I'm going to go into the concept of Rand Paul. And another thing that's funny about this, that I told you I ran against the Hunter dynasty, and this is their big ballywick. And when I ran, Ron Paul came to San Diego, I told him, and he said, "Oh no, not another Hunter." I told him that Hunter Jr. was now running, and that I was running against him. And of course, Ron Paul's comment was, "Not another Hunter." All right. Well, and so they're right here with Rand Paul and his sanctuary city stuff. There was some video recently, and what I really hate about this is they're grandstanding, like, "Look at me, I'm the savior, I'm going to do something." And these hunters have been making a career on that for 30 years. They're going to stop the problem at the border, and all they do is move it around by tightening up the fence here, tightening up there. And of course, I don't know what Rand Paul's magic is. He's going to come out with $1 zillion and make you all pay for it to close up the border. I'm not sure if that's it or what on that, but let's go on down his little email here. He talks about appearing on Fox News to introduce his plan to end sanctuary cities. Okay, well, I guess there's a federal government. Rand Paul thinks the federal government needs to dictate what happens in the city of San Diego, Los Angeles, et cetera, make them do their bidding. It's kind of like these internal checkpoints for the Border Patrol that are 60 miles to 100 miles inside the border. They're going to be there stopping Americans, looking for see if they're here illegally. If they can't stop them at the border, so they expect you now, and that's part of this E-Verify program. It's okay for these guys to get on the welfare and Social Security and the free hospitalization, et cetera, but if they want to work, can't have them doing that. Got to E-Verify them. Now, of course, that's and making private businesses E-Verify them to make sure they're here legally. And of course, you can only work in this country by permission anyway. You got to have a Social Security number, et cetera. And you got to be a tax slave, et cetera. Rand Paul evidently appears to be in favor of being a tax slave as well, because he's going to modify the Internal Revenue Code, income taxation, tax slave code a little bit to help things out. And people are all over me. Why aren't you supporting Rand Paul? He's libertarian. Yeah, libertarian. I mean, I'd like get so mad at this stuff. This guy is so far from a libertarian. He's a control-arian. All right. So he wants to blame the same old song as these flipping Republican communists have been saying for a long time. Sanctuary cities make a mockery of this concept, and when they morph into magnets for illegal immigrants, criminal and gang members who have been deported multiple times know they will be safe as long as they stay within the city's borders. Look, that's BS. If these guys are committing crimes in these cities, they are getting caught and prosecuted for those crimes. So this is all the fear-mongering and the hatred, fueling the hatred, et cetera. Again, the real complaint here is socialism, communism. Of course, Rand Paul, well, he's not going to say he's not a supporter of those things, but of course he is. He supports his 14.5% income tax thing, and Social Security, he supports fixing that socialist program by raising the retirement age, because that's what socialism does. It ends up rationing everything, and he's probably got some grand fix for the medical system, but that's why it's all screwed up, is because all these idiot, brain dead, no better than you politicians some with high IQs, but they think they can control the world and you, and they know what's best for you, like Rand Paul. What can I say to all of that stuff? He's a control area, and of course he wants to hit me up for some bucks here, $10 and $25, do this one and do that one to help Rand Paul get elected. Give me a break. Frankly, it doesn't matter which one of those control areas, whether it's in the Republican Party or in the Democrat Party, and the people are going to try to use the fear of Hillary Clinton. You better go with such and such, or you're going to get Hillary Clinton, and that's just terrible. How bad will that be? You know, your whole system is so messed up, and guys like Rand Paul have no intention of changing the whole basis for the system, taking away the military-industrial complex, taking away the banking fascist complex, taking away the communist socialist nature of our government complex. These are the things that are ruining the country, and they want to get us involved in arguing over sanctuary cities and give us money for that. Well, I covered enough. I got to get some water.